the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
First at 11 and working for you from farm to table, WRTV shines a light on the different ways Hoosiers are turning to food to serve the community. Good evening to you at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Amanda Starrentino. We start with WRTV's Cornelius Hawker showing you why an annual fundraiser is more important than ever this year.
These people heading to eat out at 45 degrees were doing more than buying food and drinks. They were supporting the Damien Center's annual event, Dining Out for Life. Here's Alan Witchey, the organization's president.
One of the things that Dining Out for Life does is it raises funds that we get to use year-round to continue our services.
The pandemic has made their work even more critical, helping people who could get really sick if they were to contract COVID-19 on top of their HIV infection.
We began working with people who were homeless, on the streets or in the shelters. We took them out of the shelters or off the street and we put them into single occupancy hotel, motel rooms.
Obviously, it makes me feel really good and really cared for.
Todd Fuqua has been a client of the Damien Center since 2014, getting help managing his HIV and other support services like therapy. Todd tells me he's grateful for restaurants like 45 Degrees staying committed to supporting the center, even while they too face their own struggles during this pandemic.
To know that the community hasn't forgotten about us, because it is very easy with everything going on with COVID to think like that's the only thing going on, but HIV is still alive and well. I've still got to worry about it. There are people out there who need care.
And as Alan told me, you don't have to wait until one night out of the year to support the Damien Center or your favorite local restaurant. Support that's incredibly important now as we all try to navigate through this pandemic. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
The Damien Center's annual Dine Out for Life fundraiser was delayed because of the pandemic. Typically, restaurants donate 50% of their proceeds to the Damien Center for the night, but some restaurants donated a smaller portion this year. Even though Dine Out for Life is over, you can learn more about helping at WRTV.com.
Access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food is a challenge for thousands across Indianapolis. One woman is trying to change that for future generations by teaching them to grow and cook their own crops, but she needs help. WRTV's Cameron Riddle shows us the garden tonight.
Elizabeth Durden spends much of her time with a group of 12 young gardeners, exposing them to fresh food that they can grow and eventually cook themselves, while helping them grow an appreciation for healthy food.
The only thing left is gas stations, convenience stores. They don't have any fresh vegetables, and it's really hard to find them.
Some of Durden's young gardeners have room to grow crops at home, and those who don't split time working in the garden Durden built at the area known as the Mayor's Garden on the west side. For Durden, the issue is getting some of her gardeners there from the east side.
A lot of them don't have transportation. Their parents don't have transportation. There's not really a bus that comes out here, and my car doesn't have the capacity to bring everyone out at the same time, and that would be the ideal.
The good news is Capital City Church of Christ on East 38th Street and Post Road is stepping in to provide land for Durden's East Side gardeners. But after putting thousands of dollars worth of work into the original garden on the west side, Durden needs some help.
I'm looking for assistance with the fencing. Each panel is like $17 a piece, and I'm going to need at least 18 of those to secure it to where I can walk inside of it, to water it, to weed it.
After 5 years of mentoring young gardeners, Durden knows it's a lot of work, but believes the effort will go a long way to exposing the next generation to a healthier life.
I want the kids in my community to actually be able to have fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, and then learn how to cook the vegetables.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
If you are interested in helping Durden and her group of younger gardeners, we have information in this story for you on our website at WRTV.com.
A warning tonight if you're looking for your next car. A growing number of flood damaged vehicles are coming to Indiana, And if you're not careful, you could end up buying one. Flood-damaged vehicles are popping up in states where car buyers are not suspecting. Indiana now ranks 14th in the nation when it comes to the number of flood-damaged vehicles on the road, with more than 10,000. In Indianapolis, the number of flooded vehicles is up 33%, according to a Carfax report released this week. The company says in the wake of Hurricane Laura and other storms, more waterlogged vehicles are headed to Indiana to be sold by dealers and individuals.
These vehicles have issues, mechanical, electrical, safety issues. They're literally rotting from the inside out, and they might look fine to the eye, but what that salt water is doing inside the vehicle can cause a lot of issues down the line.
You can protect yourself by inspecting the vehicle before you buy it. Look for damp carpets, a musty odor, and other signs of water damage. You can also do a vehicle history check and have a mechanic look at it.
It may have looked like it was going to pour at times today, but rain is not in our forecast tonight. WRTV Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory joining us now with your forecast.
It actually feels pretty good out there, Mark. We've got lots of clouds, but again, we'll stay dry through the overnight, dry through your Friday. Your weekend headline will be at least a chance for a thunderstorm as we get to Saturday night. Temperatures comfortable early next week. Let's go ahead and get to it as we end the work week. Temperatures are in the middle to upper 60s in Kokomo and Muncie, 71 in Indy. The wind out of the northeast has pushed the warm, very humid air to the south for now. This is the way your Friday plays out. A little more sunshine, especially in the afternoon. Noticeably less humid. It will be breezy. We'll have some gusts to 20 miles per hour. We'll talk about your Friday night football forecast. More on the timing of the Saturday thunderstorms as well coming up.
Why are homicides spiking in Indianapolis? It's a question WRTV took to police and crime experts.
Crime is continually falling in the country, and it's going to fall in 2020, but murder is up, and that's a very specific problem.
Jeff Asher, the co-founder of a crime data consulting organization, tells WRTV there's no clear answer, which unfortunately means there's no clear solution. So far this year, the city is at 130 criminal homicides. If the current pace continues, there will be around 195 by the end of the year. 16-year-old Nia Cope was one of the victims killed in Indianapolis this year. Her mother says they were driving through the city when a stray bullet hit her daughter.
Oh my gosh, my shooting. And before I knew it, Nia, a bullet had went, through my car and hit Nia. I'm not the only person that suffers this, A lot of people are suffering.
The shooting happened in May, and there are still no arrests in the case. For an in-depth investigative look at the recent surge in violence in Indianapolis, how it compares to years past, what police are doing to fight it, overall crime trends, and much more, look for this story on our website, WRTV.com. You can also use the WRTV app.
Now to the latest on the toll the pandemic is taking on Hoosier lives. The State Department of Health is now reporting 3,186 COVID-19 deaths across Indiana. 13 newly reported deaths happened between August 25th and yesterday. Across the U.S., COVID-19 is responsible for more than 190,000 deaths. ABC's Rena Roy reports with the school year now in full swing in most places, the painful complications of reopening classrooms and campuses are becoming more evident.
22 states are considered in the red zone for new cases, according to a White House task force briefing obtained by ABC News. And experts are especially concerned about the virus spreading with so many students back in classrooms. Coronavirus Task Force Coordinator Dr. Deborah Burks telling ABC News affiliate WTVD college students must stay vigilant.
Every student out there, please get tested. It is really critically important because I know that if you know that you are positive, that you will protect others for those 14 days.
Health officials warn many states are in danger of reversing the positive gains that have been made in the past weeks. Teachers in at least 3 states have died from COVID-19 since the start of the school year, including 34-year-old Ashley Demarinis, the middle school teacher in St. Louis, losing her battle with the virus after 3 weeks in the hospital.
In many ways, we're in much worse shape entering the fall than we were entering the summer. And of course, we know in the fall, fall with schools and colleges opening, we're going to probably see a lot more cases ahead.
It's unclear how many educators have become infected, but Mississippi alone has reported more than 600 cases amongst teachers and staff. At the University of Georgia, classes are in person and cases have jumped to 800 in 1 week.
I think we shouldn't even have been on campus this semester because of the rise of cases.
Colleges vowing to crack down with the scenes of partying and group gatherings continuing to emerge on social media, like this one at the University of Rhode Island.
It was also pretty frustrating too, because it was like they all had their masks in their hand, which it's really not hard to just put it on.
Health experts worry there could be a perfect storm of COVID-19 and flu activity this fall as people begin to gather indoors. They say getting a flu shot this year is especially important to protect yourself as much as you can. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
During an implementation of this, I'm worried that people are going to answer a question wrong.
Coming up, what you need to know as Indiana prepares to distribute additional unemployment benefits. Memorials are already in place tonight, marking 9/11. Park Tudor students placed nearly 3,000 flags in front of the school in honor of the victims of the terrorist attacks. Many more ceremonies and remembrances will be held tomorrow.
Hoosiers who are eligible for an extra $300 in unemployment should start getting that money on September 21st. We told you that last night at 11. There are some questions and concerns surrounding that funding. Scripps reporter Alicia Nieves has what you need to know tonight.
It's been 1 month since the White House issued a memorandum on lost wage assistance, a program that gives an additional $300 in benefits to each person filing an unemployment claim.
The program really has been has paled in comparison to what we had under the CARES Act.
Andrews Jetner is a senior fellow with the Century Foundation who's been analyzing lost wage assistance benefits and issues with the program.
Most of the states have applied for the benefits, but it's less than 10 states, that have actually paid out the money.
The Century Foundation estimates almost everyone on unemployment should at least start to get the LWA benefit by the end of September, 2 months after the program started. However, once the payments start, be prepared because they may quickly stop.
Since only $44 billion is set aside, there's only enough money for less than 6 weeks of benefits. For every state.
There is one other issue both Stetner and Michelle Evermore with the National Employment Law Project are concerned about.
During an implementation of this, I'm worried that people are going to answer a question wrong. The question is, are you unemployed due to disruptions during the COVID crisis?
This question may catch some off guard. It was not asked for the CARES Act $600 benefit and not even for normal state benefits, but it is critical to you qualifying for the new $300 lost wage assistance.
If people answer that question no, because of whatever reason, they may think that their continued unemployment now is not necessarily directly COVID related, they're not going to get the money.
If you answer no by accident or because you misunderstand the question, you would have to contact your state's unemployment office to change that or appeal a denial. That could delay your benefits for several more weeks. I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Hiring Hoosiers is connecting Hoosiers of all ages with tools that can lead them to successful careers. Girl Talk Incorporated is a mentorship and empowerment program for girls ages 10 through 18 in the Indianapolis area. Sonia Cook organizes the courses throughout the year. They focus on specific topics like career skills, finances, college, sex education, and self-confidence. A big part of Girl Talk's mission is creating connections for girls who may not have them at home.
It doesn't matter if you're black, white, blue, or green. All of us women go through a lot of the same things. And so, we want to make sure that girls are confident when they go out here in this world. We want to make sure that they have the knowledge and the skills that they need to be successful. We want to make sure that they have self-love. We want to make sure that they have self-worth. We want to make sure that they are confident in the decisions that they make.
The next 8-week session begins this weekend. It is $25 per girl for the entire 2 months, which covers the courses, lunches, and a Girl Talk gift bag at the end of the session. To learn more, check out this story on WRTV.com.
Baseball returns to Victory Field tomorrow, not on the diamond, but on the big screen. The Sandlot will be shown at the ballpark at 7 o'clock Friday evening. It is the first of 3 movie screenings the Indians will host in a series called Flicks at Victory Field. Angels in the Outfield is next on September 25th, followed by A League of Their Own on October 9th. For more information, go to IndyIndians.com. Now here's Kevin with your Storm Team 6 forecast.
And Mark, no curveballs from the weather office to end the work week or really over the weekend. We'll give you all the details. Tomorrow will feel great. The humidity will be down and temperatures below average. We'll stay in the 70s. We'll call it breezy and cool, 78 degrees. We gain a little momentum. Temperatures warm up a bit on Saturday. The chance for thunderstorms mainly Saturday night, and I think they'll be kind of scattered, not a solid line of rain for central Indiana, which has been typical, right? We haven't all been able to get a soaking rain at one time. They've kind of been hit and miss. Temperatures through the day tomorrow, your hourly forecast, we climb above 70 by noon, nearly 80 degrees in the afternoon with the mixture of clouds and sunshine. That's noticeable. The wind gusting 10 to 15 miles per hour, sometimes 20 out of the east northeast. The wind will relax a little bit as we get to the evening hours. I think we'll have more clouds in the morning, more sunshine in the afternoon. What's interesting tomorrow night, Friday night football will be a good night, but tomorrow night marks the time when the sun now sets before 8 p.m., 7:59 for sunset. Temperatures by, halftime and the end of these games will be moving into the lower 70s. Over the weekend, twin 80-degree days, or in the 80s, 84 Saturday, Sunday 82, a touch more humidity both days. As we pick up the timeline at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon, the clouds are in place. Here comes the line of showers and thunderstorms. As it approaches the state, it seems to be pretty well put together. But you can see, then it falls apart. The timing would be the atmosphere cooling a bit on Saturday night, and I think we get a little more spotty coverage rather than a solid line of thunderstorms. We've still got some time. We'll see how it plays out. Temperatures hit 84 or 85 for the afternoon high. One of the highlights in the 7-day forecast will certainly be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. Temperatures in the 50s in Tuesday morning, temperatures lower 50s. That's Indianapolis. It'd be conceivable a few outlying areas could be in the upper 40s. Notice early next week all that sunshine with comfortable afternoon high temperatures as well. Amanda?
Thanks, Kevin. And thanks for the memories. That's the Colts message to Adam Vinatieri. This banner is now hanging on the south side of Lucas Oil Stadium. The kicker's time with the Colts quietly came to an end in the offseason after a very rocky 2019. He finished the season on injured reserve after knee surgery in December. The Colts did not re-sign him, ending a 14-year stay in Indy. But there were plenty of good times, a Super Bowl 41 win, and countless memorable winning kicks. Vinatieri is the NFL's career scoring leader and will certainly make the Hall of Fame.
And we salute him tonight. The Colts will play their first home game of 2020 next Sunday. This weekend, the season begins with a trip to Jacksonville. Brad Brown has a look at that, plus an important weekend on the IndyCar schedule.
As the NFL season kicks off on Thursday, the Colts continue their Week 1 grind and look ahead to a road trip for their opener. Without any preseason games to digest, this first test at Jacksonville will ideally answer a lot of questions about what this team will look like for 2020.
I had that nervous energy last night. I think it'll be a little bit of that all week long. I think it's game week. It's real. We're about to kick off in the first game. You didn't have the preseason games to even play a series with no consequence. It's here.
Indy's lost 6 straight Week 1 games. Clearly, it's a much different lineup that takes the field this time around, but the message is the same. A good start could set the pace for a very promising season.
We got to start with a 1-0. You know, that's one thing that we really talk about is being 1-0. And going to Jacksonville, every time I went to Jacksonville, I lost. So it's definitely in the back of my mind. The defense, you know, we talk about it 24/7 that we got to come in, we got to stop the run, we got to, you know, make sure we control all passes and, you know, get some takeaways.
The Colts follow up the road opener with a pair at home. The Vikings will be here next Sunday. Indy's schedule is way out of balance as far as the AFC South goes. They don't play another division opponent until Week 10. That's in mid-November. The Fever put together a solid effort on Thursday, 85-75 winners over New York. snaps an 8-game losing streak for Indiana. The fourth quarter made the difference. Plus 10 for the Fever. It was tied through 3. Candace Dupree led the Indiana scoring with 22 points. Kelsey Mitchell pitched in 18. IndyCar is back in action this weekend. A pair of races on the road course at Mid-Ohio. It's an event that's been on and off the schedule a couple times. Fans will be back at the track. They're limiting to 6,000 tickets for each day. Saturday and Sunday races. This doubleheader will go a long way in deciding the IndyCar Points Championship. Scott Dixon enters the weekend with a 96-point lead over Joseph Newgarden. With the right results, Dixon could essentially wrap up the season championship. There are just 3 events scheduled after this weekend, 2 of them on the IMS road course. That's the first weekend of October, and the season ender scheduled for October 25th in St. Petersburg. And locally, a big weekend for USAC's National Sprint Car Series. They'll race on Friday night at Bloomington Speedway, an event rescheduled from earlier this year. Saturday night, it's Lincoln Park Speedway in Putnamville. They'll actually have a pair of A-Main Sprint features that night. One of those was rained out just a few weeks ago. Brady Bacon enters the weekend with a 4-point lead over Chris Windham for the national title. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
This colored sky may look beautiful, but it's actually heartbreaking. The orange sky over San Francisco is a result of devastating wildfires. ABC's Alex Stone reports nearly 200 fires are now burning across 9 western states, causing destruction and death.
Following days of utter devastation, survivors of the West Coast wildfires are offering a glimpse of what it's been like from the inside. Near Salem, Oregon, Chris Tofty tried desperately to find his family during the mass evacuation.
I drove through some pretty big flames, I was in the flames, engulfed in my car. I can't believe the tires didn't pop or something, you know?
Tragically, after that interview, the family says searchers found the bodies of his 13-year-old son, Wyatt, and Wyatt's grandmother, Peggy. In Medford, ABC's Matt Gutman in the aftermath, fires in the area destroying hundreds of homes.
From up here, you don't only get a sense of the scale of the destruction, but also an entire landscape bleached of color. This is a sea of gray and ash and twisted metal.
I'm so surprised that the people was able to get out of here alive.
Oregon's governor warning this could be the greatest loss of life and property from wildfire in the state's history.
In the last 10 years, we see an average of 500,000 acres burn in an entire year. We've seen that nearly double in the past 3 days.
In California, the North Complex fire is growing into one of the largest in California's history. And in Washington, the town of Malden suffered extreme damage. 70% of homes burned to the ground.
All that history is gone.
The governor pointing to climate change.
We talk about this as a wildfire. I think we have to start thinking they're more climate fires. They're climate fires because that's what creates the conditions that makes them so explosive.
Thursday is expected to be the last day of the wind event. With 3 months still to go in wildfire season, this year has already produced historic destruction. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
It should feel good in the morning. Temperatures lower to middle 60s. Afternoon high will push 80, and that nice northeast breeze. Mark?
All right, Kevin, thank you. Hey, thanks for joining us for WRTV News at 11. A reminder, GMI starts at 4:30. Have a great night, everybody.